everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm April. If you're new around here, I upload weekly videos every Sunday at 6 PM from Disney, lifestyle and fashion, so please stick around. I'd love to have you subscribe to my channel and don't forget to click that notification bell so you don't miss an upload. But today I thought I would chat quickly. It's just going to be a quick video today about my tips and tricks for booking your next Walt Disney World holiday. Now, I am in no way an expert. I've only been twice now, well, only booked a holiday twice now, but I feel like I have, even in that short space of time, picked up some tips and tricks that I'd like to share with you. So please continue watching if you'd love to book your own holiday and have your own magical countdown. As of now, when I'm filming this, I have not got long to go at all and I can't wait. But yeah, let's get into the video. So, you've done the easy thing. You've decided you want to go to the most magical place on earth, Walt Disney World in Florida. And the next thing you really want to decide is what time of year you want to go. And a big consideration is obviously the weather. Florida is a tropical climate, so they do have tropical storms. These are most normally through September to October time, but they have been having quite bad storms in November and December, so you really wanted to consider those. Obviously in the height of summer it is going to be very hot, so that's through from like June to August. You are going to have a very humid weather and it's going to be very hot, and you will get the odd rain shower in the middle of the day because it is Florida. We have been in April and May and we found that was the perfect weather. It was hot but it wasn't unmanageable. Obviously if you're thinking of going at the start of the year, January, February, March time, it is going to be slightly cooler even in Florida, and you might still need to pack your warmer weather clothes and also a lot of layers. Even in the instance it might be jeans. I've seen a lot of people go in January, February time expecting it to still be hot because it's Florida, and they do kind of get hit with the cold snaps. But so I think a really big depending factor on when you're going is going to be the weather. So I would really look into kind of what temperature you are happy to be walking around a theme park in, and kind of what you wanted to get out of the holiday. Are you wanting it to be a hot holiday, going around the theme parks, being able to go to the pool halfway through the day, or do you want that slightly more manageable temperature of maybe having to wear a little cardigan or a jumper in the mornings and the evenings? So yeah, once you've decided what time of year you want to go at, you want to start then looking at the resorts and the hotels. Now there is quite a few different options when it comes to going to Florida. You could stay on site for Disney World or Universal. You could stay in a villa, which is more suited for a lot of families or groups of people that are going together, or you could stay off site in one of the hotels in the surrounding areas of Universal or Walt Disney World. Now what kind of choice you have for your resorts depends on your kind of budget. Now, staying on site in Walt Disney World is going to obviously be one of the most expensive options, but it depends on the pros and cons of why you want to stay there. You get your included transport when it comes to Walt Disney World, so you don't have to worry about any cost of getting to and from the parks every day because that is included. You have the monorail, the boat, the Skyliner and the buses. So all four of those versions of transport are included for any guest going to Walt Disney World and that are staying at a resort, which is a massive plus. Obviously if you're staying off site in a hotel, you will have to figure out how to get to and from the parks every day. This can be via Uber or Lyft or minivan, but that is obviously at an additional cost to you. So whilst you might be obviously saving money, say staying off site in one of the hotels, you are then having to pick up the cost of transport every day to the parks. Now you can have the on-site hotels on Walt Disney World or Universal, and they normally come in tiers. So you have a value, a moderate and a deluxe. Now the value ones are Pop Century, I'm really going to be testing my knowledge here, Pop Century, Art of Animation, the All-Star Resorts, so that's All-Star Music, Sports and Movies. The moderate ones, I'm going to probably forget some of these, are Caribbean Beach, Port Orleans, Riverside and Port Orleans, French Quarter. Oh, I've forgotten some already. There's quite a lot of the moderate ones. I will list them on screen or in the description below. And the deluxe ones include Grand Floridian, Beach Club, Yacht Club, Polynesian, all of the ones on the monorail loop, so contemporary. So you've really got to think about obviously what your budget is if it is going to be an on-site resort. And with Universal, they have expanded quite a lot of them. Hard Rock is one of their deluxe resorts. You've got Fortaventura, I think that's what it's called. There's another one, Cabana Bay, which is really popular I hear and looks amazing on the vlogs. And then off-site, you're obviously going to have a slightly cheaper price of them, and the quality might not be as high. Now, I would always recommend, once you've decided kind of where you want to stay, or if you're in between staying off-site or on-site for Disney or Universal, I would always recommend getting a variety of different prices. Now, that can be trying to price it up yourself, of booking things like the flights, the hotel and your transport separately, or going through a travel agent. Now, I've booked our 2 holidays for Walt Disney World via 2 different travel agents. I've done one via Ever After Holidays after the recommendation of watching Adam Hatton's videos, and I couldn't recommend them enough. They gave me a really good competitive price and were able to give me a few different prices for different resorts that I wanted to stay in. And I have booked our holiday this year with Walt Disney World Travel Company, which is the most direct way to book your holiday via Disney. And again, they gave me a really good price. I was able to give them a few different options of where I wanted to stay, and they gave me a few different prices that I went away with, and kind of decided what our budget could stretch to and what we were happily comfortable with paying for our holiday. These holidays aren't cheap, and I think it's best to be realistic in what you can actually afford. We put a deposit down and obviously paid closer to the time of our holiday, but it is a lot of money, especially in the current cost of living crisis we are living through. Every penny counts, especially when it comes to a holiday, because we are going to appreciate it so much more. So I would definitely recommend being realistic when it comes to the cost, and maybe if you are stretching yourself a little bit too thin when it comes to your holiday, maybe look at doing an off-site resort just in case it's going to become too much money for you. But please don't take this as gospel. I am in no way a financial advisor or anything. I know everyone would love to go to Walt Disney World, and I'm just trying to give you a few tips of how to kind of realistically book your holiday and make sure you can have the holiday that you've dreamed of. So once you've got your few prices, TUI also do a lot of good holidays, and they do quite a lot of last minute ones. I feel like the pros and cons of booking for a travel agent and doing it yourself is pretty self-explanatory. You're obviously going to get a point of contact more so when you're booking with a travel agent, and everything is kind of like in a bow, wrapped up in a bow. It's a whole package. Obviously when you're booking it separately, you are going to probably be able to save yourself a little bit more money finding the deals and stuff. There is so many different airlines that fly out, and you'll really be able to find a good deal when it comes to your flights as well. And that's obviously another contributing factor of where you want to fly from and where you're flying into. So currently when it comes to flying into Florida, you can fly into a few different airports. So there's Melbourne, which is one of the newer ones, which TUI currently operate flying into, and that is about an hour away from Disney. So you've got to factor that in when it comes to your holiday of the travel time from the airport. Obviously MCO, that's the Orlando International Airport, that is the closest airport you'll be able to fly into when it comes to Walt Disney World and Universal. It's about a half-an-hour trip from the airport to most of the Disney resorts. And then you've got Tampa, which is a little bit further, but a lot of people do like doing that if they're hiring a car and they want a slightly cheaper flight into Orlando. So yeah, they're the few different options of resorts and like hotels where you're staying, and also flying. And that will depend kind of on where you're flying from. In the UK, I would assume we normally fly either from Gatwick or Heathrow. We're flying from Gatwick this year because we're flying with British Airways. We flew with Virgin last year. I wasn't massively impressed with the service I got in Virgin last year, so I kind of wanted to give British Airways a go. We have flown with British Airways before to Paris, and we were quite chuffed with that, so we thought we'd give it for a long haul flight. Or actually, we've flown to New York with British Airways as well, and we were really impressed with that as well. But yeah, so you've decided what resort and what hotel. That's the same thing. I've got so much information in my head that I just want to make sure I'm getting to all of you and proving this is a good, helpful video. So you've decided on where you're staying, who you're flying with, and where you're flying to. The next option you need to think about is how you're getting from the airport to your resort. So there's a few different options. You can again use Uber or Lyft or minivan. They obviously can vary very much in price of the time and the day you're flying into, so I would always recommend not kind of booking the first initial kind of cost you do. It's sometimes worth just waiting about 10 minutes for the price to go down. You can go via a car, so a lot of people obviously rent a car when they're on holiday. Me and Andy weren't massively keen on renting a car. We didn't really see the point, seeing as we're staying on site, but maybe if we go back eventually we might think about renting a car so we can explore a little bit more of the Orlando area. And I've heard prices can very quickly fluctuate between the cost of renting a car, so it's always worth shopping around for that as well. And then the last ones are Mears Connect and Sunshine Flyer, which kind of both replace the Magical Express, which used to be free for any resort member, resort stayer of Disney World. So it's now a cost of riding that. So Mears was the one that used to operate Magical Express, so they are still operating that service, but you just have to pay, I believe it was about $30 each for a return journey for me and Andy, but they didn't actually show up until an hour later on our way home to the airport, so I definitely wouldn't recommend them. We are hoping to use the Sunshine Flyer, which I think is about $2 more for us to go on that. So I've heard really good reviews of the Sunshine Flyer, so I would probably recommend looking into that rather than Mears, because we really didn't have a very good service with them at all, and it got to the point where I was out of pocket $30 because they didn't show up and I couldn't get my money back. So I would definitely recommend Sunshine Flyers. It looks really cool. The designs of the buses are really cool. We saw some of them in the airport when we were waiting, and I can't wait to kind of show you our experience of that on the vlogs. So you've decided how you're getting to and from your resort, and what's next? It is thinking about what you're doing on your actual holiday. So a lot of deals include your park tickets for Walt Disney World and Universal. We booked our Walt Disney World holiday via Disney, so we got our park tickets included. They normally do a 14-day ticket for the price of £7, which I think on our invoice worked out about £900. I know you can slightly get them cheaper on different websites, but I feel like it was just easier for us to do that, and that will obviously allow us to go into every park of our holiday on our 14-day holiday. Currently, as I'm filming this, you still do have to book your park reservations for the Walt Disney World parks, and this is a free service that you just have to do prior to you going, and I would recommend doing this as soon as you get your My Disney Experience login and your reference number to be able to book those, because some of them do kind of go quite quickly, especially for popular days. So say when we're going to Walt Disney World, we are going for May the 4th, which is obviously Star Wars Day, and they obviously have Star Wars Land there in Hollywood Studios, Galaxy Edge, so I made sure to book that as soon as we booked our holiday, because I didn't want to risk not being able to go there. I know it's more for them to just monitor the capacity, but there has been days especially on our holiday last year where I wanted to change a day where we were going to Animal Kingdom to another day and there wasn't any availability. So I would definitely recommend doing that. It is still a bit of a pain, and you can't park up still until after 2 p.m. after you've entered into your first park, but it's something that you still have to do in order to enjoy the magic, so I would recommend doing that. And then the other mention I want to talk about is the Universal tickets. Now, up until the point of a few weeks ago, we were not planning on going to Universal. We had kind of looked at going to Kennedy Space Centre, and I don't know if I spoke about this in my trip announcement, but we didn't realise how far Kennedy Space Centre was away from Walt Disney World, so we kind of had to scrap that idea, and instead we have decided to go to Universal for 2 days, and we booked our tickets through attractiontickets.com, and I would really recommend them. They are super competitive in their price, and they were the cheapest place I found to buy the tickets. I believe we bought our tickets at the cost of a child's ticket, so they do really good deals, and we just put a deposit down and we don't have to pay that until 6 or 7 weeks before our holiday, which obviously spreads the cost of the payment of all of the holiday items that you obviously have to count the cost for. But yeah, we can't wait to go to Universal for the first time. I'm so excited to show you in the vlogs and pick up some tips and tricks to be able to film this video again for you with even more information. But I definitely recommend, obviously, if you want to add a Universal trip onto your existing Walt Disney trip, looking and shopping around for your tickets, because there are so many good offers you can find, and that is obviously another cost that you have to account for. We are obviously going to have to account for the Uber from Pop Century to Universal for 2 days, our food, because we're obviously not going to have any kind of like dining credits included and stuff, and I'm already so excited looking into all of the things we can be able to do in Universal. So yeah, you've decided where you're going for the parks, and you've kind of planned your days with your park reservations, and if you're going to Universal or any other parks. I can't really comment on any of the other parks like SeaWorld, or I can't remember any of the other ones, but we're not really massively into any other theme parks, so Universal and Walt Disney World is fine with us. And going to the outlets, I'm so excited to do some outlet shopping again. I feel like we're going to go to a different one this time. But the only thing I really want to mention is, when it comes to booking your holiday, I would look at kind of what deals Disney have brought out. So when we booked our holiday, sorry this video is a little bit sporadic, I'm trying to make it as concise as possible and not as long, so I hope you've been able to pull some kind of like tips and tricks from this. But when it comes to booking your holiday, especially for Walt Disney World, a lot of the time Disney will bring out some UK deals. Now, these used to be a lot better than they are, but you've got to take what you can get, and they used to do the dining plan. If you booked it within a certain time of the year, they would give you obviously your dining plan where you could have a set amount of meals every day and some snacks. Now they do something called dining credits. Now the amount that you get of dining credits depends on where you're staying. So we stayed at a moderate resort last year, so we got slightly more dining credits. I feel like it was $854, which is a really considerable dent into your budget. So we obviously didn't have to budget as much for our food last year, so a lot more of our money went on to experiences or buying some treats for ourselves and buying some snacks. This year we're staying at a value resort of Pop Century, and I believe we're only getting about $450, which obviously is half of what we got last year, so we're really having to budget a little bit more when it comes to our food. But it is still free dining credits you're getting for booking your holiday, so I wouldn't pass up that, and it was really easy to use. I think I covered this in my vlogs. You get sent a kind of like a digital gift card, and I added this to my Apple wallet, and you just scan every time you want to kind of pay for something for your food. And I believe they're doing it differently this year, so it's not just dining credits now, you can use it on merchandise as well. And also when we booked our holiday, we got a $200 gift card for the Disney property, so we're going to kind of add that into our dining credit, so we're going to have around $600–700 dollars to play with for our food, because food is expensive in Disney. There's no beating around the bush, and you've still got to eat, and we kind of want to make the most of the dining credits of like some nice sit down meals, but also being able to treat ourselves to a few snacks. So I would definitely recommend looking at what deals there are about when you're booking your holiday, because it might be worth taking yourself up on that offer. Sometimes they do book 7 nights and you get 4 nights free. It's really worth having a look. Now, what else can I mention to you about the holiday? So you've booked your holiday, it's all in place, and you've got your countdown. The only other thing I would mention before I finish this video is kind of planning your days out a little bit. Now, I'm a bit of a planner freak. I like doing a spreadsheet of every day that we've got a park reservation, so I can kind of see what our days are going to look like. It just makes it easier for us to kind of get to Orlando and know what we're doing, and it's so easy to kind of forget what park reservations you got, even though on your My Disney Experience, which is an excellent thing for me to actually mention. Why did you not mention that earlier? Your My Disney Experience is literally going to be the hub of your holiday. You're going to be using it on the countdown to your holiday, but you're also going to be using it on your holiday. This is where you're going to find all of your information about your holiday, so you can see your ticket and passes, your photo passes. You could do your Genie Plus, which I haven't really commented too much on because we didn't use it. I believe it is quite a lot of money for something that used to be free, and I'm not really a massive fan of it. But you're going to have your virtual queues for all of the new things that is going. Tron got announced that it was going to be opening, so I'm so excited to be showing you that on the vlogs. Happily Ever After is coming back. So this is going to be your perfect kind of information for your Disney World holiday. I believe Universal have something similar. I haven't downloaded that yet, but you're also going to have the maps of the park, so you can see all the wait times, you can see where you're going and everything in all the parks. It's just such a brilliant tool for your holiday, and I would definitely recommend downloading that as soon as possible. But as I said, I like to do a spreadsheet. It just makes it easier, especially when it comes to dining reservations, so you can book your dining reservations 60 days in advance, and they're your sit down meals like Cinderella's Royal Table, Ohana's, Grand Floridian Cafe. They're all of the ones that you kind of want to do research on where you're going to be eating. There's so much information I could give you here, but I kind of wanted to condense it to kind of you booking your holiday and researching the best way to get a good deal and make the most of the money that you're going to be spending on your holiday. So if you want any more information, I am hoping to film a video on all of the food we ate, because that is a whole other subject of kind of Walt Disney World, and I kind of wanted to give you a ranking of all the places we ate. I know we kind of spoke about it in the vlogs, but I kind of wanted to do like a debrief of where we're thinking of eating this year on our trip this year, and where we wouldn't recommend going back, or where we kind of didn't see it worth it. But yeah, definitely look at doing a spreadsheet or some kind of plan of every day. It doesn't have to be regimented, it's just got to have some sort of idea of where you're going to be, what sort of timings you want to kind of not restrict yourself to or set yourself. And it's just easy for you to then be able to have a look, go, yeah, we're in Hollywood Studios today, we've got this sort of dining reservation, we want to stay there for this long, we want to have a break at the hotel. And then it's just so much easier for you to maximise your time there, but also make sure you're enjoying everything Walt Disney World has to offer, and Universal. But yeah, I hope this video in some way made sense. As you can tell, my voice is slightly going, so I think it's time for me to wrap up this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm so excited to be giving you new Walt Disney World vlogs in the coming months, and all of the videos on the lead up. I've got a packing video, I've got my food video like I said, I've got probably a haul of holiday stuff that I'm getting and stuff. I've ordered some really lovely things from some small businesses, so I expect a haul from that soon. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you next Sunday for a brand new video. It's time for me to go. Bye!